Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of GNL's Voice. My name is John Cash Philippi, and I am so fortunate to be here today with Bobby Soper as a head of, the owner of Sun Gaming and Hospitality. But before we get into all this, we're going to get a little bit from our sponsor, which is Core AI. Core AI is recognized as a global leader in enterprise conversational AI platform and solutions, helping enterprise automate business, voice, and digital interactions that deliver extraordinary experiences for their customers, contact centers, agents, and employees worldwide. More than 200 global, 2,000 companies trust Core AI's experience optimization platform with the industry solutions to automate their interactions and achieve extraordinary outcomes for over 200 million users worldwide. Please visit Core. And with that being said, Core is a great company. Definitely check them out if you get a chance. But let's get to Bobby Soper and why we're here today. We're starting a new series called The Legends of Gaming. The reason I call it that is because Bobby is, in my opinion and many others, a legend in this industry, and I'd love for him to share a little bit about himself with all of you.
Thanks, Cash. Appreciate it. I'm not sure I would consider myself a legend, but I do appreciate and humbled by that. Yeah, just a little bit of background. I spent a good portion of my career in the corporate world of gaming and hospitality. And that was with Mohegan Sun. I started as actually legal counsel, general counsel. Incredible experience, right? Got to be part of a team and oversee at least the internal legal team with raising the first Native American tribe, Mohegan tribe, raising a significant amount of capital on Wall Street for our major expansion that occurred in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then just was fortunate enough to have opportunity to move into operations, had a great mentor, Bill Villardo. God bless his soul. He since passed, but just a great mentor showing me a lot of ropes, and spend the next 2 decades in various roles. I had the opportunity as CEO to open the first property in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I moved back to our flagship property in Connecticut to serve CEO there. And then I finished my tenure with Mohegan as CEO of the company, really focusing on growing the company both domestically, internationally, getting some balance sheet stuff in order, especially post 2008. And it was an incredible run, just very blessed in that regard. I still have a tremendous amount of respect and a lot of relationships with Mohegan. I actually, per the request in 2021, went back for really the purpose of helping them finance the large integrated resort in Seoul, Korea, Inspire, which is opening very shortly, which I'm super excited about as well. For the last 7 years, I've been an entrepreneur, as you mentioned, owner of my own company. I have a number of them, and stay in the gaming hospitality space, serve on a couple of public boards and on the online gaming space. I've helped out with a number of transactions, some acquisitions, and some land-based and bricks and mortar properties, and love to advise tribes and others, on commercial diversification, not only in gaming, but in other areas as well. And again, very blessed to be part of an incredible industry.
That's fantastic. It's been about 30 years of background there that you kind of threw at us.
Yeah, almost 30, almost. Yeah, I'll say it started in the 90s. I'll put it that way.
Well, you've been in the industry for an extremely long time, and you've seen the industry grow up, so to speak. Uh, can you paint a picture of the changes that have happened during your career, the things you've seen from not only just gaming, finance, and tribal growth and corporate growth?
Yeah, I mean, the gaming industry, a lot of people don't realize this that aren't in the gaming industry is really young in the United States. And there's been an incredible proliferation just in the last 3 decades. When I started, there was a handful of jurisdictions that had casino gaming. Today, I think we're what, 44, 45 states have casino gaming. 49 have some sort of gambling, I guess you could call it. And when you see an industry grow that quickly, right, and in that many jurisdictions, you're going to see a very quick change, a very quick evolution. And I think, it's catalyzed by a couple of things. One is just sort of changing perceptions. Constituents, of all these elected officials accepted it more, and therefore they accepted it more, right? I think you saw with the passage of IGRA in 1988, I think it was, really catalyzed growth of tribal gaming. It really set the stage for that, and then you have states seeing what the benefits are from their adjacent states, and so you had, for example, racinos pop up now, which are really regional destinations. So it's just been a trajectory of growth over the last 3 decades. And with that, the technology, like, who would have thought, 30 years ago that you would not have coins anymore in machines, right? Today, there's a lot of people that don't even remember having coins in machines, right? Moving from, the coins to the ticket in, ticket out system, as an example. I think, probably along with just the legal growth and expansion, the evolution of the actual casino itself, right? We went from places where you had slot machines and table games to integrated resorts, or even mini integrated resorts, where food and beverage programming, nightlife programming, entertainment, all of that becomes an essential part of the whole experience at a casino. And that's, I think, where we're at today. Just literally in 3 decades, this has become a very different industry. It's become truly, sort of this complete experiential, programming versus, just going to play blackjack or play a slot machine.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm at one of those mini ones right now, which is great because we built the amenities and everything else to bring in everyone. And so the growth of the industry has been amazing. And you're absolutely right. You hit it dead on. Where the box with slots is disappearing, and everybody's becoming more resort and amenity driven casinos. Um, but the other thing, because you were CEO for a long time at Mohican, and you led a humongous team. You've led several humongous teams. And how in the last those 3 decades, how has leadership changed in how we're leading these teams? Because it's changed a lot in my world, so I'm sure it's changed a ton in yours.
Yeah. No, it's again, when you have an industry that's this young, that grew this fast, the dynamic it really makes for interesting stories, but an interesting evolving landscape, including in leadership, right? I was very fortunate. I mentioned before that my mentor was Bill Villardo. He's definitely a legend. There's no question about it. He was one of the few guys that I know. I'm not sure I know any other person that was a CEO in the East Coast and West Coast, and at one time reported to Donald Trump and Steve Wynn. So put that in perspective, right? These in the early days, and yet this is a man that was extremely humble, relationship driven, and to me, what I learned is what the true, leadership traits that are differentiators, especially in an industry like that, like this, like empathy, relationships, humility. All these things are so important that in an industry where if you build it, they will come. That's how it started. It's hard to maintain, sort of that kind of humility and mindset, but he did so. And that's what I learned. That mindset is extremely important today because today what we have are very mature markets, very competitive, and the culture of the organization is going to be even more important of a differentiator. And that culture is both the team member culture and it's the culture that the consumer sees as well, right? And that ultimately translates into service, loyalty, innovation, progress. Um, and so for me, it sounds so simple, but I think uh, today you not only need progressive thinkers as leaders, right? So they can keep up with the evolution of technology, marketing, whether it's CRM programs, loyalty programs, programming, physical programming of the property. How do we differentiate ourselves? But also, have those traits that can capture the respect, of all the team at every level, right? And that is a reciprocal, mutual respect, right? That means getting in the trenches and truly, showing that you are part of a team. It's almost more of a horizontal type of relationship versus a vertical type relationship.
That's awesome. I love that you bring up culture because it's such a big part nowadays of something. I think, especially the last 15 years or so, every place I've been, at least, it's the first thing we talk about is how do we change the culture? How do we make the culture better? Employees and customers and everything. So it's great that you bring that up. Uh, with that being said, because you kind of touched it on a little bit, what trends do you really see coming and are being adopted currently over the next few years?
Yeah, I'm going to state the obvious here, and that is, I think the movement towards digital online, just simply because that's what the new generation of consumer is going to require. It's not going to happen overnight, or I'm not, I wouldn't kill the slot floor, right? But there's no question. Retail has taught us this, right? Retail has taught us this. All the big box bricks and mortar retail organizations. Those that adapted have fared well. Those that did not adapt are no longer in business. And I think the same holds true in the gaming space. As it relates to how that is going to change things, I think, again, it sounds cliche-ish, but there's going to have to be an omni-channel approach from land-based operators now, right? How do you leverage those bricks and mortar assets, a lot that are saddled with debt, right? That you have to service. But how do you leverage, that great program that you have with the movement to, iGaming and gaming online? And those that are able to do that are going to succeed, and that's going to be a trend. It'll take some time, but it's going to happen. The good news is those generations that want to utilize the mobile device rather than the machine on the slot floor love experiences. They love to eat, they love the nightlife, they love to travel, and so those bricks and mortar buildings are still going to be very useful. And so again, it's how do you leverage that? I think that's the most important thing. And the days of mass retail programming and amenities, big busing programs, buffets, those types of things are sort of going by the side right now. And the focus is how do we make sure that we program ourselves and then, optimize labor, optimize expenses, as the transition occurs, from those newer generations, from the baby boomers, right? I think that should be the mindset of leadership in the industry.
That's perfect. Yeah, I think you're dead on. iGaming's huge. I mean, Europe, it's been around for so long that, and I remember we were working on that in Jersey. It was that was always our model, and it was amazing to see it come in and how quickly it adopted. Nobody, I think, expected it to grab as quick as it did, and as soon as we start really spreading out a lot more, across the country. It is going to be a huge trend. But the fact that I like that you bring up that the the brick and mortar structures are going to stay a part of the game. And you're right. I mean, there's a lot more foodies. I mean, that word wasn't even a thing 10 years ago. And experience based everything is that. So without further ado, it is crystal ball time. I just happened to have this, so I thought it was kind of funny to bring it up. So, crystal ball time. Uh, what's the future of gaming? Does it look like so a scene from Friends where everybody's sitting around a coffee shop gaming? Is it people gaming on their phones, or is it VR headsets and people running around? What do you see in the future of gaming?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a little redundant, but clearly convenience, being able to have a personalized digital experience, right? As these generations continue to adopt more and more that type of experience, I think that's going to be center of it all. Now, are we, blockchain technology incorporating AI, into a virtual world, aka the metaverse, that got real hot. And now it's cold. And is it because it's just a little ahead of its time and not really for prime time ready? Or is it because it's just a fad? I don't know, right? I have a little skepticism on it being, the model moving forward. I think there's a role for it. I think physical contact, the human physical contact, is still very important, I think, in many regards. And I don't want to sound old school here, but I do think obviously AI is, as dangerous as it is, it's going to be a part of our future, right? Like whether it's in marketing, whether it's in, literally in the games themselves, right? I think that's all part of it. I think digital is going to be part of it. Again, the good news I think is even those that are the most cutting edge, right, the youngest of generations, they still like the physical experience, right? And it may not be in gaming. And the other thing is gaming is always going to be around. Risk taking, in some form of gaming, as we call it, right? And I use that term very generically, has been around thousands and thousands of years. It's going to continue to be around. It's a question of form, which you're asking. I just think there's going to be the centerpiece now is going to be digital. The economic engine is going to be digital. And then the land-based component is ultimately going to help elevate that engine and also contribute incrementally as well. And those that are most strategic on using their existing assets and then those new evolving assets, in AI and blockchain and, other forms of technology are going to be the winners at the end.
That's fantastic, Bobby. Such great insight because like I said, I'm in awe to have you on the show, and we obviously you're a big contributor to gaming and leisure and Jeannie and those folks. So we love you, and there's like I said, I'm happy to have you here, everyone. We have been talking with Bobby Soper, who's giving us his insights on the upcoming world we're living in and some of the past we've been through. So, without further ado, Bobby, thank you again.
Cash, it's my pleasure. Enjoyed it.